the life. You're listening to Bacon Bits with Master Happiness, and I'm your host, Marty Jalov. I come at you every single Monday night at 7 o'clock to talk about your job, your career, your vision made clear, the skills that you hone for the business that you own, the ups and downs, the smiles and frowns, where you're at and where you're bound. If you miss any of today's episode, first off, shame on you. You should definitely be listening to this entire episode. This is very, very special. But if you miss any, tune in later in the week to Bacon Bits with Master Happiness, anywhere you listen to podcasts. So as you know, every week I'm on a quest to bring you the industry best, okay? And today I have two extremely special guests, two very special people, two people I cherish, two people I call good friends, okay? They might not call me their good friends, but I'm going to call them my good friends, all right? We're going to look at two different perspectives. We're going to look at the ghost of Christmas past and the ghost of Christmas future here. Okay. We're going to look both directions. This is going to be a really exciting show. I'm pumped up about this because what I've got here is my two friends. First off, we've got Augie, and he's over here. We're going to just pop this over here. Augie, say hello to the world.
Hello to the world.
All right. So Augie, before I go any further, what year were you born, Augie?
1941.
A lot of exciting things were happening around the world in 1941. All right, so we'll probably get back into anything that you remember the day you were born.
Yes,
or the year you were born.
I remember the date.
Okay, good, excellent. That's all I need. I guess that's all I need to hear right now. Our next guest is, of course, Anabella. Anabella, say hello to the world.
Hi, guys.
That's it. Hi, guys. That's it.
Hi.
You're talking to the entire world. Only the guys? You don't want to say hello to the girls?
Hello, guys.
All right. Perfect. All right. I want to make sure that you're good. Make sure you get nice and close to that mic and talk loud. Oh, excellent. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So what year were you born, Anabella?
2010.
2010. So quite a difference from 1941 to 2010. So this is going to be exciting. The whole show today is going to be hammering some questions to these two and getting the perspective of a man who's 84, who's seen a thing or two, or three, or four, or five, or six, or seven, and Anabella, who's new to the world, right? Exciting. And so what I want to do is I just want to pick everyone's brain. And so we're going to start out light. Anabella, you're just learning to drive, right?
Yeah.
All right. And so what kind of vehicle are you learning to drive on?
I'm learning on my dad's Pilot.
Okay. Right. And so Augie, what was the first vehicle that you drove?
A tractor.
Nice. So how did you learn to drive a tractor? Because Anabella might be able to pick up some tips on from you.
Well, I learned to drive a tractor by watching my uncle, the farmer.
Okay.
And I saw where he sat, and I stood behind him on the power takeoff and watched what he did. And then he said, "Now do you want to try it?"
Nice.
And I tried it, and that's the first thing I drove.
All right. Annabella? Oh, I can't believe 15 years old. She's already on her phone texting friends.
I'm looking at the questions.
All right. So, yeah, this was not one of the questions. So,
Okay.
So what can you teach Augie about driving? What are some of the new things? I mean, you're learning the rules of the road. Augie's still stuck on a tractor.
Something new?
Anything that this guy should know? I'm starting with a question that neither of you expected, so that's okay. Good. I like this. I kind of stumped both of you, so we're going to jump right into this whole thing. We're going to jump into something here. This is where I really wanted to start this question, okay? And that is this. This is the best one, and I want you to think about this. The reason I like this talking about driving is this. I want you to think about this for a moment or two, and towards the end of the show, or maybe after the break, I want to get your answer. All right. So imagine you're on a road trip. And each of you are driving. So you're driving two separate vehicles. And I want you to think of who would be the three people you'd most want to be in the vehicle with you. Okay. You could say it's whatever car. I don't care what kind of car. Hopefully it's not a tractor, Augie, because you've got to fit three people. These could be living or dead people. Hopefully, at least in the ride, they're alive. But who wants to drive around with three dead people? But they could be people from history, present time, etc. Now, I want you to think about those three people because it's going to be an exciting trip. Where do you think you want to be driving to? It could be across the country, could be to whatever. All right. And lastly is what is the soundtrack? Come up with one or two songs you wish were playing on the radio with these three people. All right. So that is the song, or this is the question I want you pondering in the back of your mind. Okay. When we come back, I want you to think about those things. So we're going to get right back into the show, into the meat of this. Now, Augie, you've been on the show a while ago. Anabella, I am sure you listen to this show every week, right? Thank you. See, Augie, I told you she was a great liar.
Mhm.
All right. So every week, what we do is we add a little bit of bacon to the show. All right. That's why it's called Bacon Bits. But of course, we're not talking about the bacon for chewing. We're talking about the bacon for doing. All right. So it's the acronym BACON, which we use as kind of a light outline for the show. So the bacon, the BACON today is this. B is the balance between tradition and innovation. A is adaptability across generations. This is where we're going to be leaning towards. C is a connection through shared values. We're going to see if you guys through generations share any values. Okay. It was a fun ride up here. O is the opportunities to learn from each other. Okay. N is navigating change together. All right. So that's the BACON that we hope to include here. But let's jump right into this because I know both of you are very excited. We're going to remember that bonus question that we're going to jump back to. But let's start out right away. What's so important about the show is Master Happiness. All right. And so it's a lot to do with happiness, what brings us happiness, etc. So my question to you is this, and I want you both to think about this. And I'll probably go with Anabella first. I want to throw this at you. What does happiness mean to you? Okay. And how has your understanding of it, even in 15 years, how has your understanding of happiness changed over time? So really, what does happiness mean to you?
I'd say that happiness to me is just when you're doing something that you love and it brings you just this utter joy to do it, when you are at this very peaceful state of joy.
All right. I love that. Can you give me an idea of what's something that you do, you like doing that brings you
I
some
love
joy?
to act.
Okay. All right.
So I love to just be a dramatic person, a creative person. And whenever I'm creating something or doing something, it brings me joy to be doing it.
Awesome. Awesome. Augie, same question there. What about, how do you, what does happiness mean to you?
Well, happiness can be contentment. It can be a result of excitement, and it can be love, a loving relationship with another person. But I think happiness means that uh, you have an absence of stress. And
Oh, I like that.
you ha-
Yeah.
happiness means to me that I don't worry about anything. I can do what I feel like doing or what I must do,
Okay.
but not be in fear of anything. I think the lack of fear and worry is happiness.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And so tell me one of these things. What's one of the things you do right now that really brings you a lot of joy and happiness?
Well, I have a job that I like doing. That's one of the things I do right now. And my job involves teaching people how to use a software program.
Okay.
So I get great satisfaction and happiness, therefore,
Right.
from explaining things in a way that the trainees say, wow, I really like that.
Nice.
And it's not that I'm teaching them, showing them something that I created, but I realize when they say that I have communicated with them
Fantastic. That is cool.
and
That
they
is cool.
understand.
Okay, I like that. You know what? I'm going to keep the camera on you for a second because I'm going to jump to this other thing. I like the way you were going with that. Is this idea of maybe you see that eureka moment when they get it and you realize you communicated with them and they understand something and they learn something that they didn't know before, right?
Yes.
And you were the cause of that. So with that, now what is something, Augie, that a piece of advice that you can give people your age? Your age. What is something that through your 84 years that you've learned that you could give other 84-year-olds a piece of advice?
Have the most curious mind you can muster.
Ooh, I like that. And I like mustard, so that works out two ways. Okay. So the most curious mind. I'm digging it. All right. So Annabella, same thing. What is a piece of advice that you would love to give people your age?
Don't worry about what other people are thinking of you,
This
because
is
I know a lot of people, especially me, just worry and try their best to be perfect. But it's better to be you and be judged by people who are scared to be themselves than be scared to be yourself and not be judged by anyone.
I like that. Wow. I told you, Augie, this girl's a philosopher. Okay. So I'm gonna throw it back to you in that same realm here. Uh what is something about you? Tell us something about you. I usually ask, what's your bacon? What's that thing that you do, that driving force that brings you joy? But I think we're touching on that. But what is something that you've done that you're really proud of that maybe the rest of us, at least Augie and I, don't know about? Something about you that you're really proud of.
I'm just really proud of myself for, at the beginning of last year, I had some bad anxiety around just,
Oh,
freshman year of high school, all that. But I'm very proud of myself for working on that and learning how to deal with it and becoming a more confident, better person.
that's excellent. Wow. And thank you for sharing it. I hope a lot of kids your age and even our age can learn from that. So, Augie, back to you with the same thing. What is a piece of or something you're really proud of that you think most people don't know about you?
Well, if it's something that most people don't know, then it must be something really personal. And I think um, the the thing that I'm proud of is that I have attempted to be a good father and a good husband,
Okay.
and so I'm proud that I try. I don't know that anybody ever succeeds with something like that, and then claims they're the best.
Okay.
But I make a good, serious attempt at it, and always conscious of doing that. And also, in addition to being a good father and a husband, a good friend when I have the opportunity, which you don't always have
Correct.
opportunities
Correct.
to be a friend.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you that I really I introduced you guys as both friends, and I cherish both friendships. When I was a little kid, I lived in the city of Chicago, go out and play, and I used to run next door to my neighbor's house. And this man was retired, and he'd sit on his front porch, and I'd sit with him, and I would just chat with him all day long, right? And my mom would come out and yell to me, get away from him. He doesn't want to be bothered by you. And this guy Ray would go, oh no, it's okay, Mrs. Jalove. Marty could stay here all day. And I just always loved talking with people that came from a different perspective. And so what happened was when I met Annabella as a little girl and she just started talking to me, it kind of was a flip for me that suddenly I was the old man listening to the young kid, right? And then I meet you, Augie, and I get this picture of what life my future has to hold. And my future looks really, really good. So thank you, Augie. All right. All
Well,
right. So with this is Pablo Picasso, all right, had this saying that I love. And he said, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. Okay. And I really, really like that. And so rather than stealing his, what do you think the purpose of life is? Who would like to take this one first? Oh wow, that was awesome. All right, you go for it. What's the purpose of life?
I'd say the purpose of life is to just not just survive, but live it. Live
Nice.
life with all of nature and the rest of humanity and all animals and species. Just live it and don't just go through the motion and think back, oh, I wish I would have done that. Like, live your life.
Gotcha. I'm liking it. Augie, can you add to that?
I think the purpose of life, the most important purpose in life, is how you share your life with the other people in the world. And that's really, I think, when you boil it all down and you go through what life is, it's other people. Just that's
It's
it. Simple terms, other people. And of course, the variations, how do you treat them? How do they treat you? How do you interact with them? Things like that. But that's beyond the question.
It's your interaction with other people. That's what you're saying. Surrounding yourself with, well, it's good and bad people, all people. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I love this. This is really good. To those of you listening, I told them all they had to come up with quick answers because we have like 700 questions we're asking today. Okay. So I'm going to go back to what I was talking about was both of you being close friends to me, that our friendship really means something. So let me, I was going to ask, so what makes me special? Say something nice about Marty. But I thought, you know what, that our show's only an hour. And so you guys would go on and on and on.
Love it.
All right. So let me ask you, Augie, so I'm going to go back to you right away. What makes, in your mind, what makes a good friend? Okay. When you talked about the purpose of life is one thing, but what makes a good friend? Who do you choose to spend your time with? Okay.
I've had some practice with this one.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I've lost a few friends. When you are a survivor like I am, older than most people who are my contemporaries who have passed away, a lot of them, high school friends and so forth. And recently I went to the funeral for what I've always called my best friend.
Okay.
His name was Jim. And they asked us to say something about Jim. And what I said about Jim was this. When I'm talking to with my children and younger people about friendship, and I hear them say, I've got 4,000 friends, and they hold up their Facebook page.
Yeah.
They say, you can call those people friends, and I'm sure you don't believe that they're the kind of friends that I consider a friend.
Right.
But what I consider a friend is the kind of person who, even though you have not seen that person for 20 years, and you are down in the dumps and you're down on your luck, you may have sunken to the lowest possible level of existence that a person can sink to. You could go to that person's door at 3 o'clock in the morning and knock on the door and wake them out of bed. You could smell like alcohol. You could be long haired and disheveled. And that person would open the door and say, come on in, friend.
Wow. That's a good one. Are you ready to top this one, Annabella? I like that description an awful lot. So Annabella, tell me in your mind, what makes a good friend? Obviously, you can't talk too much about losing friends.
No,
Not like
yeah,
like Augie
not
can.
in the same way that he has.
Right.
But I'd say what makes a good friend is just the reliance, just like what he was saying, is somebody being there to kind of just be, your guardian angel, being there to help you. And you don't need a million of them. You can just have one really good friend who makes you happy to be around them and feeling good in life.
Augie, I really love, and I love how you kind of echoed it, is when you were saying, you could have just one. You're right. We live in a world where we're saying we've got 4,000 friends. Look at this. Look at us. I got 4,001 friends now. And I wish there was a better name for that. Acquaintances. These are people who just know my name. They might not even know me, right? There's got to be something else, because I think the word friends means something. There's some more depth to it. And we cheapen it by calling all these people, everyone I meet is a friend. Okay. So talking about friends, what about this? What is one thing that that you would say is a piece of advice that you received either from a friend or a piece of advice about friendship that really sticks with you? I'm going to throw it back to you, Annabella, because that's how the camera works. It's easier that way. So what's a piece of advice that you think you've learned from a friend about making friends, or a piece of advice you've learned from a friend that really means something? Okay.
I have a lot of good friends, but I don't think I've learned something that's really. I mean,
And it
I'd
could be,
say the thing that I've learned from friendship or from friends, not just from like what they've said to me, but maybe just actions is still going off the one is better than 5,000. Having
I
one
like
good
that.
friend.
I like that. All right, good, good. All right, Augie, what about you? A piece of advice that you learned about friendship, or from a piece of advice that you learned from a friend that really meant something?
The learning that I've had received from friends has generally not been things they tell me, but actions that they show me.
Yeah.
And I think the best example of being a friend is loyalty. Being a true friend doesn't depend on what I do. My friend is my friend because they're there for me no matter what I do. That's true friend. That's a true friend. We all make mistakes.
Right.
And when a person who you think is a friend sees you make a mistake and walks away from you, they really weren't your friend in the first place.
Wow, that's deep. Yeah, yeah. And it's unfortunate that that's how we sometimes are forced to learn who our true friends are, right?
Yes.
Okay. So talking about that, Augie, since you're right in there, it leads into this other question. What's one thing that you've learned that you can teach us, something that's important to you about forgiveness? When you talked about this friend who walks away from you, all right. What's the important thing about forgiveness that you could teach us?
Oh man, forgiveness, especially when you see what you read on the news nowadays about things that happen, bad things, and how people forgive. That is a really, really hard thing to do. It must be a hard thing to do. I can only think about one example that have detailed memory about forgiveness, and forgiveness is a word that I have a hard time,
Okay.
because for me to forgive somebody, in my mind, I have to think I'm have the power to forgive them.
Oh, okay.
But what power do I have to forgive anybody? That implies that I think I'm better than them in a specific
Okay.
way that I can forgive. So I have a difficult time actually considering the concept of me forgiving anybody.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I don't really feel like I'm better than a person enough to be able to forgive them. I don't know if that's clear enough, if you understand what I mean.
I think so.
But
I like that.
yeah.
It's a different take on that. I've never heard that take, but I can understand that.
But for example, if I see you do something and you hit somebody, and I say, well, I forgive him for doing that,
Right.
I'd have to be somebody who never
Yeah.
hit anybody myself.
But what about if the person hit you? Can you forgive the person for that? Person.
Easily?
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's I think more along the lines of what I'm looking at.
Right.
So Annabella, that same question is what's one thing you've learned about forgiveness?
I'd say just forgive, but never forget.
Oh, I'm with you 100% on that.
Like if somebody wrongs you, let's say somebody hits you by a car, like forgive them, but don't forget that they did that, so
Right.
you don't make that same mistake again.
Sure. I agree with you. I think that I heard somebody say, and it really makes sense. I forgive people for me. It lifts the stress off of me. I don't have to live in that anger, that fear, whatever anymore. If I forget, I'm letting them off the hook. I'm allowing them to hurt me again. So I forgive them to say, I'm better than it. I'm going to move on. I've learned, but to forget means I've set myself up to be hurt again. So I do agree with you. I'm willing to forgive people who hurt me, but I'm not going to forget it. I'm not going to go down that same path. Okay. So with that, we talked on it a little bit. We touched on it just slightly before, but I'm looking at the time here. So I'm going to take up more of a fun question here. Okay. Fun question is, you're on death row. See how fun that is? Right?
I love it.
You're on death row and you get your last meal. This is the last meal you're ever going to have. Okay. What do you think you're going to have? And so I love, oh, you know what, Annabella, you made such a perfect face. I'm going to put you up first. So, Annabella, what do you think your last meal? Doesn't have to be death row. You just happen to know that that's it, your last meal.
I'm just gonna go cheese pizza from probably Little Caesars with
Wow.
their breadsticks, then just ice cream. It's a lot of dairy, but those are
That's your
definitely
last meal. Well, go for it,
it's
right?
very good food, and I'm gonna eat what I love.
All right. So it's vanilla ice cream or what flavor ice
No,
cream?
chocolate and mint chocolate.
Nice. Nice. All right. Augie, I'm really interested in this. What's your last meal? What's your choice?
A Klondike bar.
Wow, you both are ice cream fans,
Yes.
huh? All
Good
right.
thing.
That's it? Just the Klondike bar?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do with that food if you're on death row
Yeah,
anyway
but
and it's your last meal?
wow, wow. All right. Okay, that's interesting. If I'm going to go with ice cream, I'm not a big ice cream fan. It doesn't necessarily agree with me, but I really do like horchata flavored ice cream and coconut ice cream. You mix those together. Delicious. So I'm not going to say that's my last meal, but it's up there. Okay. All right. So we talked a little bit about friends and stuff like that. So this idea of how do you think, and I think you touched on it a little bit, but how do you think the idea of friendship has changed in a world of social media? Like you're saying, everyone's a friend. How close can we get to people via social media, yet we're still calling them friends? So what do you think of how does friendship change? This is probably a tougher question for you, Annabella, but obviously you remember a little bit of life before you had friends people like you just for being you, okay, versus people that you consider friends on social media. So I'm going to let you think about it a little bit, Augie, because you've lived a life where before social media and made close friends, and then you see friends that on social media. What do you think? How has social media affected our ability to make friends and keep friends? Or define friends?
I think it has removed in my early life, you only had friends who you actually, for the most part, you had friends who you were able to see physically
Yep.
in your presence. There was an exception to that, and they were called pen pals.
Okay.
And the pen pals was the Facebook of 100 years ago because
Right.
people would write letters to pen pals far away and become, quote, friends in much the same way that we make friends on Facebook.
Sure.
And so, um, but I think the friendships that most people had, because everybody didn't have pen pals, uh, was friends that they would meet physically. And what I've learned in recent years is that meeting a person and responding to them, to their physical appearance and physical demeanor, is a very complex thing. And it's not easy to filter out things when you're meeting a person that are related to them actually being there in person,
Right.
as opposed to being just a name on a Facebook
Sure.
post or a name in a letter received from a pen pal. So it simplifies beginning a friendship because you cannot be distracted
Social
by
media. You're saying social media is
social
just the
media.
beginning of a friendship.
Social
Okay.
media simplifies that because if you're open to meeting people and not thinking about all the other things other than what's presented to you, it can be a great way to open the door to a friendship. Oh, that's a person who lives on a ranch in Montana.
Yeah.
And that is an interesting thing to me. What can I learn from that person who lives in a ranch in Montana that I don't know anything about?
Right. Right.
And you are disassociated from what it smells like to be behind a steer on a ranch in
Yeah.
Montana.
Right.
Because
right.
maybe that's totally unpleasant to you.
Sure.
And maybe if you were meeting that person personally in the where all those in the steer pens are, you would react negatively to some of the physical environment that they are in.
Yeah.
But they're not in that. They're just on a Facebook page with a picture of them and the steer.
And yeah, it's the perfect image.
And
Right.
and you can then begin that friendship, which would be maybe a good friendship that wouldn't be followed through with if it was an uncomfortable physical environment.
Gotcha. We're going to take a momentary break to introduce some of the other shows on this show. So please stay tuned. We're going to be right back with Augie and Anabella, the wisdom among the both of them. So please stay tuned. Hey, and welcome back. Thank you so very much for staying tuned in to 98.3 FM The Life. You're listening to Master Happiness with Marty Jalov, or I should say you're listening to Bacon Bits with Master Happiness with Marty Jalov. That's me. All right. Today I have two special guests, two incredible people, Anabella, who is 15, and Augie, 84. And they're duking it out for who is the bigger, better philosopher. And right now I'm saying the score is tied. You know what? I'm going to stray away from that last question for a while, even though Annabella's like, I didn't get a chance to answer. So I'm going to jump back to that question I asked earlier today, was if you were to go on a road trip and you got to pick three people from present or past to travel with you, who do you think you would go with? Okay. Where do you think you'd want to drive to? And then tell me some of the music that would be on that soundtrack of that drive. Okay. So I'm looking at both of you. Who's going to go first? Anybody? All right. Oh, I love this. Annabella's just jumping on this all the time. She's always set. Go for it. Oh, let me turn your mics. There you go.
Thank you. The three people that I would have in the car with me would be Abraham Lincoln,
Cool.
Michael Jackson,
Nice.
and Jesus Christ.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Who just out of curiosity, because you're driving. Let's say this is in a year or so. You got your license now. Okay. So who's sitting in the passenger seat if you're driving?
Abraham Lincoln.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Hopefully there's sunroof and his hat sticking out there. All right. Where are you driving to?
Oh, we're
Yeah.
driving to Florida.
That's cool. And just give me an idea. What kind of music is playing, or do you have any particular song you're going to play?
Well, we're going to like Disney and Universal, so just like Disney music.
All right. I'm loving it. All right. Augie, that sounds like it's a heck of a trio right there. Tell me who are the three you're going to put in the car with you? Or it might be your truck, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it would be Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, one of my faves.
Yeah. My wife, Bonnie.
Nice. Oh, you had to say that. She's listening.
And I think the third one would be our dog, Penny.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's a really interesting trio. Okay.
Yeah. And where we would go,
Yeah.
I would ask Leonardo.
Okay.
Because Leonardo, well, of course, it presumes that we're driving
Yeah.
in the United States.
Sure. Yeah.
And I would guess that Leonardo would have a lot of questions.
My God, yes.
And I would be interested to see what Leonardo da Vinci's questions or what his curiosity was in where he would like to go.
Gotcha.
And of course, he probably couldn't tell me because we presume he doesn't know this. So I would ask him to define a place that he would like to experience.
You might end up going to Disney World with Annabella.
He could very well do that. But I'd be interested in hearing Leonardo's perspective.
Okay.
On what I already know about.
Sure. He might want to go to the Smithsonian.
He may.
So what kind of music are you going to play on this trip?
Well, that's where I would count on my wife.
Okay. Nice.
And she is very good about knowing music that I grew up with but didn't pay attention to.
Gotcha.
I'm one of these people that had never really paid attention to music like other people do.
Okay, sure.
I listened to it, it was there, but it was just background.
Okay.
but she knows all the words and understands what the good music is and what the not good music is. So I would depend on her for the
Perfect.
soundtrack.
Perfect. Okay. Fair enough. We'll give that up to Bonnie. That's a kind of cheated there, but
I
that's all
know.
right. That's all right. No, nobody expected less. All right. All right. So Annabella, I put the camera back on you because I'm going to rapid fire throw another question to you. And this is this question about, I always ask this, what's your bacon? What is the thing that motivation that gets you up every morning? Because I know you're one of those kind of people. You're up at 5 a.m. You want to attack the day. You just want to go and do stuff, right? You're not one of those nappers, not one of those lazy people. So what's that thing you're looking forward to tomorrow? You want the opportunity to pursue your dreams. So what's your bacon?
For the bacon, like just the thing.
Yeah. In other words,
It's
what's
just-
your driving force? What's the thing you look forward to in life? It doesn't actually have to be meat.
I would say I just look forward to every day
Okay.
doing something good with it and just having fun and going kind of back to like not just surviving but living your life. Just
Okay.
live in the present being and live your life and have fun.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna double down on this question and ask you this. And Augie, I want you to think about this too. What is something then that you wish you had done in your life, or something you hope to do in the future? So you get to choose. What is something that in your past you say, I wish I had done that, or instead something you really hope to do in the future? Because I really want to tap into those dreams.
I really hope to become an actress when I'm older, be
Okay.
able to, make movies and create characters. I find that's very fun and I love creativity and adventure.
So what kind of films?
I love
Comedy, drama.
I love a bunch of films. I could do anything. I really
I
really
believe
love
that.
like comedy because like Adam Sandler and
Okay.
fun just having fun filming.
Okay.
But then there's also like you can do a horror movie
Right.
and really dig into this just creativity of creating something so kind of monstrous.
Okay.
And then like drama, like romance. There's so much to do and you can love all the different ones for so many.
I love it. All right. Cool. Cool. I'm betting on it. You becoming an actress. All right. So don't let me down. Augie, what is your bacon? What's that dream? What's that thing that wakes you up in the morning, gets you excited? The goal, the thing you want to get done. And then we'll follow it up with the wish of something you had done in the past or in the future. So what's your bacon? What's your driving force?
The driving force for me when I get up in the morning, and I do get up in the morning very early, is what I'm going to do that day. Those little plans that I made the day before, and it got late at night, and I say, well, what am I going to do tomorrow? I usually start planning what I'm going to do tomorrow, tonight.
Okay. Good. Good.
And because there are so many things. Um, as you go through your life, you're young and you're 20 and you say, I'm going to live forever. I
Yeah.
can do a lot of
Yeah.
things. And then the older you get, you start to realize you don't have that many mornings left. And so what you want to do is try to accomplish something, and it doesn't need to be changing the world.
Okay.
It
Right.
could be something simple,
Yeah. Yeah.
like building a path to the garden,
Right. Right.
because the garden is such a nice place to be, and you want to make that path easier for your friends to walk down.
I love it.
So I'll think of something like that.
Okay.
And then wake up in the morning, subtract the real obligations like my job, and say, then in the time I have left over, this is what I'm going to do. That's what gets me up in the morning.
Okay.
Things that I thought that I need to do and I want to do.
All right. So the follow-up question to that is, what is something that you wish you had done in the past, or you choose, or hope to do yet in the future?
Well, one of the things that I wish I had done in the past was actually attended the law schools that I was accepted
Oh,
at.
wow.
And I was accepted at 2 law schools, but I didn't go. And I wish I had. So the other thing that I wish I had done is write that book
Yeah.
that I never wrote. And so those are two things. The
But
other thing, it would be I would love to be a well-known actor, but I've done a lot of acting
yeah,
in community theater, and I've got it out of my system, and
okay.
I did a good job at it, and I love doing it, and I always want to do more.
Okay, so I'm going to throw this back at you. The hope to do in the future. That book is still in your future, Augie. There's no reason you still can't do the book. Okay.
There is
Yeah.
the only reason is the lack of time to do it. So again,
It's how you prioritize it,
you
right?
have to pick your
Yeah.
priorities.
Yeah.
And when I look at my priorities right
Yeah.
now, um, then I've got a lot to do and no time to do some of those things. But the one thing that I do hope to do in the future is put that car back together.
Okay. Yes, I know the car you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you the reason I talked about the book was there was a point in my life where I was like, I talked about writing a book forever, doing it over and over. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get to it. And when my daughter was young, when my daughter was 5 years old, Katie was 5, she came to me the one day and said, Daddy, you should write a book because you tell these funny stories and you draw so well. You should do this. So I finally sat down, worked on the book, and created this book, Bacon's Bacon Bacon, right? But it took me 19 years to finish that, right? And so that's why that little pig, and that's why I wear pigs on my shirts all the time, because that's that pig that reminds me it's never too late. Because when that book came out, the first copy went to my daughter, Katie, and she laughed. She saw this and she was like, I'm 20. She was like 23, 24. And she's like, what am I going to do with this book? And I was like, I don't really care. This book was written, you're the one who inspired me to do it, right? So it's never too late. Just every day you could start something if that's what you really want to do. You know, it's so much easier to come up with excuses, obstacles. All right. So with this, we're going to go into this. We're going to talk a little bit about, you mentioned your job a lot. And what about you, Annabella? You work yet, or are you just a dredge on society?
No, I do like small jobs. I used to for like the baseball, like kids baseball.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna do that next year because obviously I'll be able to drive and get like an actual job.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I also babysit for these
Okay.
girls next door and other people.
All right. So in the future, you hope to be an actress. Okay. Augie, you still work and you love your job, right? So the question is this a good piece of advice for anyone listening to the show? Do you think that it's more important to love what you do or to make a good living? All right. So which is more important, to do what you love to do or to make a good living? And it's the way it's written. It's not an easy question. And because it's not an easy question, I'm going to have Augie answer that first. All right.
It is an easy question.
All right. Let me hear that.
Love what you do.
All right. All right. Tell me why you love your job.
First of all, I love my job because it gives me an opportunity to do something that it's kind of, I don't want to make this sound the wrong way. Most people my age couldn't do what I do.
With you.
And so it makes me feel like I have accomplished something that many people can't. You know, like when you compete in the world, whether it's sport or learning or being an actress or, you know, giving advice to people and doing the things that you do, Marty.
Yeah.
You want to know that you have been able to do something that all the other people in the world can't do.
Gotcha.
We
Sure.
all want to be special in some way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so by doing what I do, I'm a little special, at least in my own mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very rewarding thing to be able to do.
All right. And I'm going to go along with this before I have you answer this question, Annabella, is I believe one of the things you said is I do believe you got to find something you really love to do. There's a lot of people I know who work and they're just after the money and they go, I'll worry about happiness later in life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Annabella, you might say, hey, that's me. But one of the things that people go, there's a lot of people who say, I don't feel special. I feel ordinary. I feel like part of the crowd. there's nothing extraordinary about me. And this is where I tell people they have to look at the Venn diagram that is them. Okay. I did this children's book. I wrote a poem. I wrote a tongue twister. All right. Am I the greatest at that? No. I illustrated that book. Am I the greatest illustrator in the world? No. I am a talk show host. Am I the greatest talk show host in the world? Not by a long shot. Okay. There's a number of things that I'm good at, but any one of those things, I'm not necessarily the greatest. But if you create the Venn diagram of all those talents, all those abilities, all of those gifts that I have and where they overlap, that's me. And that's the thing I'm the world's greatest at. I'm the world's greatest Marty Jalov, right? I'm the world's greatest Mr. Bacon. All right. And I think that's what we have to do is we can't compare one thing that we do with one thing that someone else does, because you can always find someone who's better than you, right?
Right.
So Anabella, same question to you. Do you think it's more important to love what you do or to make a good living? So what do you think about that?
I think it's very important to love what you do.
Okay. That's it. That was I was expecting a little bit more. Tell me why. Why do you think that versus making a good living?
Well, for instance, I'd rather be an actress barely getting by than being like a lawyer getting paid really well, but not being happy with what I do.
All right.
If you're happy doing what you do and you love doing what you do, that's gonna give you a feeling money can't give you ever.
I love that. Look at this. I told you I don't even understand how that brain fits in that little head, Augie. I'm telling you. All right. Let me see. And both of you are probably pretty good at this one. So Anabella, I'm going to keep the camera on you. How do you think technology has changed the way that people work or pursue their goals? How has technology changed? Now, your whole, you kind of define the way that you use technology to either do your work, et cetera, whether it's even babysitting and you're texting someone or whatever. And Augie, think about that throughout time. How has technology helped you pursue your goals, or how has technology helped you do a better job at your work? So Anabella, you got anything you can throw into there?
I would say that technology just doesn't necessarily change too much how we work for them, but how effectively we can achieve them.
Okay, your goals you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, I like that. And it's tough because, your life, you're like going, for people of my age and Augie's age, we've seen technology leapfrog. We've seen it change, whereas you might view this as a lesser, a more moderate change. So Augie, what about you? What would you say? Wow, I don't even know who's on the camera. There you are, Augie. What would you say? How do you think technology has changed the way that people work or pursue their goals?
I think technology has given us the ability to be more efficient and more productive. And when you think back to technology, think back to the wheel.
Yeah.
And before the wheel existed, it was a lot harder to move things from one
Anabella,
place to
he is
another.
younger than that. He didn't see the invention of the wheel.
No,
All right.
I know.
All right. Go ahead, Augie.
Right. But every little bit of technology helps people. But it also can be a negative effect on people.
Okay.
And so I think technology can enhance your productivity, but it can also decrease your humanity.
Wow, that's good. And now
Uh,
Annabella's nodding along with that. She's digging that.
Some of the people, I've met people in my life that are so non-technical, they hardly know how to use a pencil
Yeah.
and a paper. But yet they're they're the source of the most wisdom I've ever met.
Wow. Okay.
And so I don't think that you have to be covered in technology to be a person who is meaningful to other people. Remember earlier we asked what's the most important
Yeah.
thing in life, and one of the most important thing in life is the other people
Yes. Yes.
that you live with and you relate to. And I know people that are non-technical as they could possibly be, but are meaningful people in my life or have been. And I think that's the answer to that question.
Okay, beautiful. I'm going to keep you here. I'm looking at time. We're down to the last few minutes, so I'm going to try to go these last two questions. I got one last question. It's really important, but I'm going to do a quick one here. Is what is a tradition, Augie? You got to give me a fast answer. What's a tradition that you hope lives on beyond you? A family tradition.
A family tradition
yeah.
that lives on beyond
Yeah.
me. Drinking Guinness beer in an Irish pub.
I love it. I love it. Annabella, I don't know if that's a tough one to beat, but what's a family tradition that you have that you hope just continues?
Every year, like around Christmas or after Christmas, my dad's side of the family, we go up to Wisconsin and we get like the whole family together and we hang out and we have a Christmas party and it's really nice. We used to do it at a curling club.
Cool.
But we've done it for so many years. It's like it's just been a part of my whole life.
Yes.
So it's really, it's fun, it's awesome, and it's bonding. So I just hope it continues on.
Nice. That's very cool. I love just bringing family together. All right. It looks like these might be the last two questions. So Augie, I'm going to give it to you, and then we're going to have Annabella end the show. Okay. So Annabella is going to like wax philosophical here. All right. So Augie, your question specific to you is this: what is one life lesson you'd like to share with the younger generation? Something that you think the younger generation could be as young as Annabella, could be anywhere in between. What is one lesson you'd like to share with them?
Be a sincerely good person. And if you realize that you're not, keep trying.
Wow. That is nice. I'm going to write that down because I'm going to put that on a t-shirt and make $1 million. Okay. Annabella, your question, all right, is what's one thing you think the older generations could learn from your generation?
I'd say to just be a little bit more chill. I would say.
I like that. All right. Be a little more chill. All right.
Be calm. No, not calm. Just live life without constantly thinking of what's next. Just think of what's now. And I know not everybody who's older
of course
does
not.
this, but
Right.
I'm just saying that for some people, just live in the now.
Okay, cool. I love that. Both fantastic answers. Thank you so very much. With only minutes to go, Annabella, what is something that you would take away? What's something about today's show that you would say you liked this? Maybe there was something Augie said while you were listening, if you were listening, that you can remember. What is something that you think everyone should take away from the show?
I think the part where, the road trip where he was talking about he would just let Leonardo
Leonardo da Vinci.
Just asked him, where would you want to go? What would you want to see? He kind of didn't, he was driving, but he didn't take the wheel.
Oh, wow. Very good. Augie, what is a takeaway from this show that you enjoyed? Something that you'll remember?
Keep radio alive.
I love it. Without doubt. Let's keep radio alive. So this is cool. We're down to like the last 2 minutes. I want to thank both of you so very much. I told you both of you, I cherish your friendship. I hope that our friendship continues like this. You know that both of you can count on me for anything. And because I know I can count on the two of you for anything. So thank you so much for listening to Bacon Bits with Master Happiness. This has been a very special episode with my good friend Augie and Anabella. If you missed any part of today's episode, later this week, the recording will be on Bacon Bits with Master Happiness, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Next week, we'll be going right back to, I believe, I'll be talking with my boys, Luke and Nate, and we'll be talking about Dale Carnegie, one of the legends of sales. All right. Don't give me that look. He's a real person. All right. So thank you very much. And on with the show. Bye-bye, everybody.